Good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I want to say welcome to the Black Financial Channel. This is going to be a good conversation. There's a lot to talk about. And what I want to do is give you guys a chance to come into the conversation so we can have a really good discussion on a really interesting and I believe an important topic. I think that, what's going on with this situation with rappers and how much money they have and what they are and are not doing to or for the community, I think is extremely important. And I think it's something that our people should talk about. It's something that our people should be aware of. And I think it's something that we can look at as an opportunity for all of us to benefit as a community. I think that hip hop is one of the great talents of the Black community. I think it's one of the things that we do extremely well. We invented hip hop. We created hip hop down in the South Bronx. So I don't see why we shouldn't be the ones to financially capitalize off of that. So what I'm going to do is give you guys a chance to come into the conversation, come into the live stream on the Black Financial Channel. If you give me a second here, I'm going to let everybody on Black Enough know that we're having this conversation right now, and we'll get started this way. So I want to remind you guys that if you want to be notified when I go live, all you have to do is text the word Boyce to 31996. Text Boyce, Boyce, to 31996, and you guys can join the conversation that way, and we can come in and have a good discussion about Blackness and wealth and everything else, or just Black issues in general. And the platform's for intelligent Black people. So if you're not Black and intelligent, this ain't the place for you. But if you are Black and intelligent, or you want to be more intelligent over time, then this is a great place for you to get a chance to be around kindred spirits. All right, so as we get started, go ahead and shout out your city, shout out your business, shout out your dream. Hey, Z Music, how are you? Z Music producer. Okay, so you're a music producer. That's great. That's excellent. We have a lot of people. We have instructors in the Black Business School who actually teach on the entertainment industry. Damon Dash, who created Jay Z and Rockefeller Records. Damon and I put together a whole curriculum called Intelligent Boss Moves that you may want to check out at intelligentbossmoves.com. That's intelligentbossmoves.com. Also, D1, who's an independent artist who's been able to make a lot of money. I think millions of dollars. Before the age of, he probably made over $1 million by the time he was 27, 28. And he did this independent. He was doing so well independently that he didn't even need Cash Money Records. When Cash Money Records reached out and told him that that they would like to sign him, he actually turned them down. That's how well he was doing. Another one is Peter Parker, who's also on the faculty in the Black Business School. Peter Parker is one of the most highly respected, highly sought after directors. And he does music videos and films, and he's getting major deals with major networks. And the way he got started was nobody gave him an opportunity. He broke into the industry. He actually saw a J. Cole song that he really liked, or he listened to it. And he went ahead, he wanted to get J. Cole's attention. So he went ahead and shot the video, sent it to J. Cole. The video had gone viral on the internet because everybody loved it. And J. Cole reached out to him and actually brought him in and allowed that video to be his official music video for his song. I can't remember the name of the song. I got to ask him what song it is. So my point is that a lot of the people that teach in the Black Business School, particularly in the entertainment industry, are people that I like to talk to people who are self-made, because I think for Black people, we need to be more self-made. We can't sort of just go wait for other people to give us opportunities, because those opportunities don't come. So I reached out to Damon Dash to come in and teach the Intelligent Boss Moves curriculum, because him and Jay Z were self-made. Like, nobody wanted to put Jay on the radio. Nobody gave Jay an opportunity. Nobody thought Jay could rap. Jay didn't even want to go on stage. Did y'all know that? Yes or no? Yes or no? Tell me yes or no if you knew that Jay Z could not even get on the radio when he first got started. Yes or no? Does anybody else know that, or do you think that he just was born with a silver spoon in his mouth? Yeah, Jay Z could not get on the radio. He could not get on the radio. How many of you also knew that when Jay first got started, he kind of had a little bit of stage fright? He couldn't. He didn't actually want to go on stage. He didn't want to rap. Right? How many of y'all? And I love that story when Damon told it. Tell me yes or no. How many of you knew that? Tell me how many of you knew that. I love that story because it kind of just shows you that sometimes you run away from your destiny, right? You run away from your greatness. You run away from your blessing. You run away from your destiny in terms of what you're supposed to be. You run away from what makes you special, in the eyes of God, in the eyes of the universe. Some of y'all right now are running away from your dreams. Some of you are running away from your destiny. Some of you are running away from what you're supposed to be doing right now. You're doing some other shit because somebody told you that that's what you're supposed to do. Maybe it was even your parents. Maybe your mama was the dream killer. Maybe it was your spouse. Maybe it was you. Maybe, I found that my number one hater, my biggest hater ever was me. Boyce Watkins is the guy. He's the son of a bitch. I want to find him and beat him up because he's been a hater on me since I was a little baby, and I got to fight him every single day in order to go out and pursue that which I believe I'm destined to have. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button. It's very, very important. Did Jay Z snake Dame Dash? Adrian asks. I talk to Dame a lot. Me and Damon probably have had hundreds of hours of conversations, and I will say that it sounds like it was just a disagreement among friends. I think there's a lot of emotion tied up there. I don't necessarily look at it as assessing the blame. I think at the very least, at least one of them would probably agree. Probably both of them would agree that it just wasn't a good fit. That was my perception, and that's my conclusion, that it was just not a good fit. The direction Jay Z was going didn't seem to be a fit for Dame's business style, which was pretty direct, pretty strong, pretty brash. But at the same time, it works in certain spaces. Damon Dash is a genius. He's a brilliant man. He's a good man, honorable man, but for the most part, I like working with him. It wasn't always perfect. I ain't gonna sit here and bullshit you. But at the same time, I like the guy. I always liked the guy. I always respect the guy. And then with Jay Z, my respect for him grew over time because Jay just grew up. Jay, God bless him. Jay deserves the grown ass black man award. Forget like richest rapper and all this other stuff and Grammys and Oscars or whatever the hell they give, whatever little trinkets they give you to make you feel like you've accomplished something, which don't mean anything most of the time. But Jay Z deserves the grown ass man award because Jay Z grew up. You saw him evolve. You saw him constantly adapting and changing based on what level he was at. And I think that's admirable. Now it probably came with tremendous sacrifice. You can't get ahead. You can't win at a high level without sacrifice. Eliud Kipchoge, who was the fastest marathon runner on the entire planet. Eliud Kipchoge said that, in order to be great at the marathon, he said, I have to sacrifice. He said, if you don't sacrifice, you won't succeed. If you're trying to stay comfortable and get to the top, it ain't going to work. To get to the top is a very uncomfortable journey. In fact, most of y'all, 98% of y'all shouldn't be trying to go to the top. Because you ain't about that. You don't really want to do that. You don't really want that pain, that agony, where you get there and you're like, and people are like, was it worth it? And you're like, I don't know. I don't think it was. I feel like I sold my soul to the devil. That's how I think people feel when they really accomplish something at a high level. Like if you become, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan made a lot of personal sacrifices to become Michael Jordan. You have to change your personality. You have to cut off friends that you love. You have to deal with people in a certain way. All of that. Tiger Woods. You saw Tiger Woods. I believe that being the number one golfer in the world drove Tiger Woods crazy and had him out here acting a damn fool and sleeping with porn stars and all that. I think part of that was that pressure, right? I know that in my own life, I've had to change my personality to be at the level that I'm at, which I don't know what level I'm at. I'm not comparing myself to any of these people, but I am, my life is not a normal life. It's not normal to be able to walk down the street of New York City or Los Angeles or Philadelphia or London and have people stop you and ask for an autograph and a picture, right? So it's a different kind of life. And what it does is it requires you to you live in like this weird bubble where your life is different from everyone else's and you feel like nobody understands. Like that's one thing I told Dr. Alicia, my significant other, I said, I have to be honest with you. Sometimes I feel like no one really understands how I feel, in terms of what I'm doing, because I can't explain to anybody. And people will come and give you advice. I'll say, no, what you need to do is this, isn't it? And I'll be like, yeah, I'm listening, but I don't really know if you understand what I'm going through right now. And so you don't know what it's like to have to cut off your friends or having to watch people and deal with people in a certain way or kind of be, having to be cold to people when you're not a cold person. It's tough. It's really tough. So I give Jay Z credit for being the most adaptive individual that I've seen in terms of hip hop artists. He deserves that respect. Hit the thumbs up button. Everybody on the count of three, please hit that thumbs up button. 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Please hit the thumbs up button especially if you're on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up button. It's really important to bring people into the conversation. Also, make sure you subscribe to theblackfinancialchannel.com. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. This is where we do financial analysis like this. We always go deep. We don't go shallow. We go deep on everything, and because we're just deep people. Let me see here. Somebody said I'm supposed to be on the Forbes list. I thought that was hilarious. Good morning, Tamiko from H-Town. Yeah, the All Black National Convention is going to be in Houston the weekend of September 27th. Speaking of rappers, Willie D from the Ghetto Boys is going to be there. I love Willie. He's a smart guy. He's a good dude, and we're very good friends. And so Willie D is going to join us for this year's convention, along with a lot of other people. We're going to invite Dr. Claude Anderson, Vicky Dillard. There's a long list of people. I got to go. Noma Langum, Shali Moses. Lots of really smart Black people. So we're going to have great conversations, great panels, great keynotes. If you want to network with Black people, please go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. And what's the discount code for the investments class? Oh, you're talking about the master class. Yeah, Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. I teach a master class on investing. So if you'd like to join it, you can go to drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. The discount code to get half off the masterclass, because we're about to start it over again, but you can stay. Even when it's over, you can still stay and come back. You can go to drboycemasterclass.com. Use the discount code PowerNomics. PowerNomics is the code you can put in that'll get you 50% off. So let me first of all, actually shout out your city real quick. We always do a city shout out. So shout out your city or your business. Let me see what cities you're from. I see Queens in the house, Buffalo, Atlanta. Adrian says Raptors got that, but y'all. So one of y'all did a voodoo spell or something on the Golden State Warriors. Had all them players going down like somebody was sniping them from the audience. I couldn't believe it. If you lose Durant and Clay, whatever his name is, you ain't winning nothing. Like they went from being one of the greatest teams in history to being like they probably couldn't beat the local high school team with that squad they had out there. They had a bunch of guys ain't played, ain't came on the court since 2009. Anyway, so let me see. CBD store slide says Slidell. I'm sorry, says Mark Soleil. San Antonio, Lauren says she's a real estate investor, but God bless you. Nate, Philadelphia. Tira, Stafford, Virginia. Adrian says I blame Drake. I know, right? His old clowning ass. He was kind of up the butts of the players a little bit. Like I love that meme had me cracking up. The one that said he really wants to be a basketball wife. I was like, yeah, Drake needs to chill. He's a little too overzealous. But then again, he's on the Forbes list. So I guess you can do whatever the hell you want to be on the Forbes list. What's up from Houston, Derek? Good to see you. M. Figueroa from Brooklyn. I see Augusta, Georgia. Any Black construction companies in Virginia? I don't know of any, but if anybody knows of one, please mention it. What's the date of the conference? The weekend of September 27th. That's when the All Black National Convention is going to happen. Weekend of September 27th. Let's see. Legal Shield Chicago. Good morning, says Angelique. All right, I love it. Okay, all right. So I see Memphis. Ooh, be careful of Memphis Z music. That's I heard a lot of crazy stuff going on down there right now. All right, so hit the thumbs up button. Now let me go through this list real quick, and I'm gonna give you a quick rundown in terms of my quick thoughts about each rapper that's on the list. Number 5 is Drake, who's worth $150 million. Drake is fine. Drake is the youngest on the list. He's also a smart guy. He's also, talk about the art of reinvention. Remember Drake was like the dorky guy in Degrassi, before he became a rapper, but he was able to make it work. He was able to figure out the formula, figure out the music. Now I think Drake is part Jewish, if I'm not mistaken. That plays a big part. Like you got, because the Jewish community's done a good job of entrenching itself in the entertainment business. A lot of Black groups that have made money and Black performers that made money had an agent or manager or distribution company that was run by people from the Jewish community. So and the distribution is the most important part of the creation of fame. That's why when hip hop got invented, the first rappers, if you'd ask people in the South Bronx to vote, like which rapper do you think should be famous? They wouldn't have picked the Sugar Hill Gang? Is that who was the first ones? Or was it the Sugar Hill Gang? Or the ones that did the hip hop to the hip hop? I want to say it's the Sugar Hill Gang. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think it's the Sugar Hill Gang. Anyway, they wouldn't have picked that group. I don't think the people of the community would have picked that group. White folks picked that group. White folks said, okay, let's just grab 3 Negroes who can rap, and let's take this art form that Black people created, and let's go and just put it on a record and distribute it around the world. And then next thing you know, you got people rapping in Sweden and Finland and Ireland and shit, right? So like Kevin Hart said, you're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn. Black people, y'all gonna learn that Then distribution is what matters in these industries. That's why you find your most powerful artists bowing down to white folks, because white folks control the distribution. So what we got to do in this generation is develop young people, at least 1 million Black entrepreneurs for the next generation who will understand distribution, marketing, and monetization of the product, so you can control the entire supply chain. You can control it from inception to completion, from the time it's created to the time it gets into the hands of the customer. You don't have to hand off the ball to somebody who's going to run in a different direction. Like, think about this. That's what's happened. You know, the reason Black folks don't get to dance in the end zone is because we run 80% down the field. Like, we run 80 yards and then hand the ball to the white man. He runs to the end zone and he's in the end zone dancing and act like he's the one that scored the damn touchdown. And that's what happens. We have to hand our art forms. We had to hand hip hop over to other people because we did not know how to distribute and monetize our own product. That's why you got to give props to people like the Russell Simmons of the world, because Russell Simmons saw the bigger vision. Russell Simmons saw what hip hop could become if it was mass marketed, things like that. You know, his brother was in Run DMC. He discovered Curtis Blow. He discovered LL Cool J. I mean, just all these iconic groups, and you got to give him credit for that. Who's another one that gets it? I think Ice Cube kind of gets it a little bit. He's not in music, but he's in movies and stuff like that. In fact, Ice Cube deserves honorable mention. In fact, I might even do a video just on Ice Cube alone, because I just have a lot of admiration for what he's done. But Ice Cube, to me, he is the rapper that best exemplifies, the future in terms of him and Jay Z. I kind of get a little tired. I don't know. Tell me if you agree. Have you ever noticed? Yes or no? Yes or no? Have you ever noticed how rappers, just all of them, just seem to want to sell liquor and shit and fashion? Those are the only two industries that ever existed, is liquor and fashion. Like, I want to sell Black people more liquor, even though Malcolm X said that the white man will sell you the liquor bottle and then lock you up for being drunk, right? But we always want to sell that damn liquor, always want to sell fashion, always want to sell shit that don't really help nobody. You don't help nobody. You don't help nobody by creating more alcoholics in the Black community. We just don't need that. No, it doesn't mean that it makes Jay Z a bad guy or Diddy a bad guy. It's just, it's kind of like played. It's old. It's like boring at this point. Ice Cube's doing something a little different. Ice Cube's like, he's still keeping it Black, but he's just diversifying, right? Ice Cube's like, let's make some family movies. Let's make movies that little kids, like, they might be on the Disney Channel, and then Ice Cube's like, let's go start a basketball league. Let's go take this unutilized asset called retired NBA players, and we're going to put this asset on the block and market them, mass market these assets, and let people buy a damn ticket, and we're going to turn this into a multi-billion-dollar basketball league. I think it's brilliant. I think it's great. So now with Drake, one thing I'll say about Drake before we move on is that Drake, I was a little bit saddened, when I saw Drake buy that jet. He bought. Anybody else see that? Anybody else see that where Drake bought a jet for like $187 million? And then he made this comment where like I'm really proud to support Canadian-owned companies, and I just thought that was just bullshit. Now, one of y'all mentioned just a second ago, like, stop mentioning Drake's Jewish background and mention his Black daddy. Well, if he got a Black daddy, then why ain't he really repping the Black community like that? It wasn't a big deal for him to say, I'm glad to give the Canadian or support Canadian businesses by giving them $187 million. But you've never heard a rapper say, I'm glad to support the Black community by giving them $187 million. There's never been a rapper in history that's ever committed to giving $187 million to the Black community or Black-owned businesses. There's enough Black-owned businesses where you could drop that kind of loot. There's enough investment opportunities in the Black community where you could drop that kind of loot, but there's no desire to do that because they love to just crap on Black people. They think Black people are just, an asset to be used. We are the economic whores of the world. The economic whores of the world, meaning that people use us up. They take our talent, they take our resources, our money, and they don't feel the need to give anything back. With Drake, I was a little disappointed. Like, no disrespect to him, but I was kind of like, man, but bro, Canadians didn't invent the music that's made you 150 million in net worth. Like, the Canadians didn't invent that shit. We invented that shit. That shit came from the Black community. African Americans, to be specific, came out of the South Bronx. Like, if you can go drop, millions and tens of millions of dollars, go spend it in the community that gave you everything. Without us, without Black people, without the people in the South Bronx who sat around and figured out hip hop, the people that followed Kool Herc and all those guys, none of this, Drake would not exist. And that's just real, you know. So no disrespect to Drake, but I didn't like that comment at all. It kind of got on my nerves. Let me see here. Kina says, I have an investment question. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. I will say I don't answer investment questions in my DM. So I do have, you know, consulting and things like that. And we also have classes in the Black Business School. So if you have investment questions, I meet my students on a regular basis. You may want to join our masterclass, or you may just want to join the Black Business School. The masterclass is drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. All I do the whole night is spend all the time answering questions, and I answer every single question before we're done. So if you want questions answered, that's the best way to do it. I can't really do it on YouTube or on Instagram because it's too much noise kind of happening. All right, so next is Kanye West. Kanye is number 4 on the list at $240 million. Now, what's interesting about Kanye, does anybody remember, yes or no, does anybody remember when Kanye, JLM says Drake didn't buy it, it was given to him by the jet company? Maybe, possibly. I didn't see that anywhere in the news articles, but you never know. People make these business deals. Either way, though, I still think, you know, I still kind of felt like, I felt some kind of way about, you know, like I'm proud to support Canadian businesses, but Black businesses don't even get considered. But Kanye West is worth $240 million. Does anybody remember, yes or no, do you remember when Kanye was talking about how much debt he was in, where he did that crazy Twitter rant toward Mark Zuckerberg saying that he was 50 million in debt or something crazy like that? Anybody remember that? I remember Kanye talking about how much, you know, I remember Kanye was, you know, was talking about being like deep in debt. I didn't remember that. I didn't know that Kanye. I mean, so when they say Kanye was worth 240 million, that either means, because net worth is your assets minus your liability. So you can't be 50 million in debt, and have that. Well, only way he can be 50 million in debt is if you take his assets and subtract the debt, and you get a positive number of 240 million. That's, I guess, must be what's going on. So having a positive net worth does not mean you have zero debt. It just means your assets exceed your debt. But the way Kanye presented it gave me the impression that he had a negative net worth, that he was in so much debt that he wasn't able to really climb out of that. The other thing about net worth that's really interesting is that it's a subjective number. A lot of times, you know, they like a lot of you in here, for example, may have a net worth of several $100,000, but not feel like you have a high net worth because you don't have a lot of cash. Well, a lot of times people, you know, they have a high net worth, they don't have liquidity, and or they may have a really valuable asset that really can't be sold very easily. So they'll feel like, you know, well, damn, I don't really have a net worth, I'm not rich, you know. But somebody might say, well, actually, you know, your house is worth this much, your artwork is worth that much, your car and your clothes and everything else you have is worth that much, your business is worth that much. Business is one good example. Like a business, a Black business especially, is not always liquid. It's not easy to sell it. But if you have a business that's making you say 100,000 a year, it's not inconceivable that that business could be worth over $1 million, depending on the growth rate of the business and things like that, right? So a lot of times you could be a millionaire and not even know it. So I think that with a lot of these guys, when they say somebody's worth 300 million, 400 million, that does not mean they have $400 million sitting around. It means that their net worth, the value, the market value, the perceived market value is perception. It's not always reality. Their perceived market value of their assets minus the perceived market value of their debt, you know, is a positive number. Now, you see, let's see, TV Network says you keep coughing, better get your lungs checked out. You know what? I don't know. I know I have allergies, and I know in the springtime, like I wake up in the morning and it's like sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever, so you can rest. Wait, that's a NyQuil commercial. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. Also, speaking of making money, I'm actually making a movie with Rick Mathis called Young Money Makers. Rick Mathis made Black Friday, and he and I came together for a partnership, you know, for the new Black Hollywood. And what we're going to do is make a movie called Young Money Makers. Rick is going to make the film, and I'm asking you guys if you'd like to be a part of that film. You can be, you know, everything from, you can either be a basic supporter all the way up to an executive producer. Rick has all the everything laid out in terms of what level you can come in on the project with. And it's an important movie for the Black community. Number one, because it helps to build the Black Hollywood that I've been talking to you guys about. I've mentioned to you guys that we have to, create our own media. We should do what the Jewish community did with Hollywood and just build up our own. So we need your help in order to do that. We'd love for you guys to support us as much as you support like Disney movies or the Black Panther or whatever it is they put out. And Rick Mathis is a very good filmmaker. He made the movie, the Black Friday 1 and Black Friday 2. Go see those movies. Those are very good movies. Rick is a very good filmmaker. And so anyway, if you'd like to be a part of this project and have your name on it, just go to weyoungmoneymakers.com, weyoungmoneymakers.com. That's the website Rick picked for the GoFundMe campaign. Go to weyoungmoneymakers.com and you can support the film and be a part of it. And that's that. Okay, so moving on. And I know, and just so you know, I know some people think it's they don't like it when or they don't understand it when either Black filmmakers or the Black Business School, when we have to charge a fee for certain things. Well, the reason you have to charge a fee is because if you want to build a business, you have to have revenue. Right. And if you don't have revenue, then you can't employ Black people. You can't make investments in the Black community. You can't provide a quality service, a quality product. And I share this openly so you guys can understand this as you build your business, because you're going to have a lot of people that as you build your business, they're going to give you a hard time about charging money. They'll say, well, it should be free. Like, for example, I'm a finance professor. I was the only African-American in the world to get a PhD in finance in the year 2002. There's nobody else on the planet that I've ever seen who got a PhD in the year 2002 in finance that was African-American. And so anyway, the reason I opened the Black Business School is because when I was teaching at Syracuse, I saw, a lot of Black kids, literally families going into deep debt to spend, $50,000 a year to go to Syracuse. I said, we could actually open an institution and actually we could have fees that are as low as, $3 a day and still provide a higher quality education for our people. Plus, it will be Black owned. We could focus specifically on solving problems in the Black community. We're not thinking about, trying to integrate anybody into other people's systems. We can actually teach Black people what we need to know, which is how to create their own systems. So that required developing infrastructure, millions of dollars in marketing over time, hiring staff members, tons of partnerships, creating lots of jobs, which is a good thing for the community, but it also costs money. So that explains why, a lot of our programs do have a fee. But if you compare the cost of learning from our PhDs and our lawyers and our experts versus what it costs you to go to college, there's no comparison. We at the Black Business School, we don't put anybody in debt. Nobody goes into debt trying to join the Black Business School because the amount of money that you have to pay. Like, for example, my stock market class, the cost to be in my stock market class costs less than a McDonald's value meal on a daily basis, literally. So if you can afford a McDonald's value meal, then you can afford to be in the Black stock market program. And so that's kind of what we do. Our goal is to provide a high quality, low cost, culturally relevant alternative to a college education. And as we develop, we actually want to encourage people to consider letting their kids learn from the Black Business School instead of college. Actually, it'll save you a couple $100,000 and you'll get a better education from people who actually care about you, who are wired in completely to solving problems in the Black community. White universities, University of Texas, ain't trying to solve no problems in the Black community, not the wealth gap. Kansas State University is not trying to solve problems in the Black community, but they'll take your money, right? And they'll take your money out of your community and they'll go spend it somewhere else. So what we ask for Black folks is this: the agreement that we make as a Black business with Black people is we say, look, we don't need you to support us the same way you support white folks. We know that the addiction is deep. Black folks spend most of our money with white businesses, and it's up to you to do what you want with your money. We just ask for 1/10. If you can support us at 1/10 of the level that you support white businesses, then we can do actually 10 times more for you and 10 times more for the community than a lot of the white businesses will. It's no disrespect to them. It just means that you're our people. We take care of you. We make sure that you're good. Right now, if you want to make it even or even support us more, that's up to you. But we try not to put that pressure out there because I'll tell you, when you run a Black business and you run it on a high level, it doesn't matter. Black people are the first ones to think that other Black business owners are scammers or frauds or thieves or whatever, right? And the same scrutiny they'll put on a Black business, they won't put that on Apple Computer. They won't put that on, on Target. They won't put that on Walmart. They won't say that to white business. They won't put that on Disney. Disney sold you a movie that literally extracted $700 million out of your community, and they're not giving that money back. They're putting that money into their community, and they're saying, thank you very much. I gave you a movie. Good luck to to you Negroes, have a nice life. Whereas if you gave me $700 million or gave $700 million to our coalition, like let's say we put together a board and to manage like a black owned school system, and you gave us $700 million, where we were fully accountable of what happened with the money, we could literally start a national black school chain, like where we're educating 100,000 black children over the next 10, 20, 30 years with that money, right? So what I'm saying is just support black businesses as much as you support white businesses. That's all we ask for people. If you're willing to give money to white folks, most people are, then share some money with black folks. And it ain't just our business. I mean, we have one business, but there's a lot of them out here, man. Seriously, like stop giving black business owners a hard time because somebody asked you for $40 or $30, whatever, man. You don't spend $3,000 with white businesses. A black man asks you for $20. You're like, what that nigga doing with my money? You nigga? What are you're a scammer, nigga? You're taking my money. What's wrong with you? Like come on, man. Like kill all that noise. That's ridiculous. So anyway, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Samuel says, thanks to you, I started a black-owned business called NJ Undergarment. Good for you. An e-commerce store, njundergarments.com. All right, so I just shouted you out. I hope you guys will do a cash mob on that business. njundergarments.com. Samuel has it typed right there in the chat. Thank you, brother, for sharing your business. Anybody else want to type your business in, feel free to go ahead and do that. All right. So it sees that there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Like Thomas says, this guy's a con artist, right? And you're a coon, sir. You, sir, are a racist, right? So anyway, so that's the thing, like that. But that's what it is. That's what happens. That's why you don't have a lot of black business owners, because some black people will accept you more readily if you are broke than they will if you're doing well. There are certain black people who are wired to hate black people who are doing better than them. They just, and Dr. Claude Anderson broke it down yesterday on Powernomics Thursday. Dr. Claude Anderson comes in and gives historical context into why you hate each other so much. And Dr. Claude Anderson explained the crabs in the barrel thing. He said black people don't have a lot of resources. So when one black person is able to get more resources than somebody else, the first thought is, I want to take that Negro down, because if I tear him down and he's poor like me, then we'll be even, and I won't feel so bad about my condition. Or if I'm a broke single mom and I can't take care of my kids, then I don't want that black woman over there to be happily married, with $1 million in the bank, because that makes me feel bad about my situation. So I want her marriage to end. That will make me feel better. And then on top of that, I want her bank account to be empty. Then we have something to complain about together. We can get a glass of wine and complain about how black men ain't shit and how hard it is to be a single black mom. We can bond around our misery. So some people some people bond around misery, and you can't do that. You got to bond around prosperity. You got to bond around success. You got to bond around things that are going to elevate you. You got to bond around black unity, man. Like just working together. Like that's extremely important. And somebody says, Dr. Boyce, we do have the resources. Absolutely. 1.3 trillion in income is not as much as white people have, but it's actually, if black people were a country, if we were a country, we would actually have more money than I think 95% of all the countries on the planet. Did y'all know that? How many of y'all knew that? How many of y'all knew that if black people were a country, we would actually have more money than 95% of the countries on this planet? And those other 95%, they build wealth. They build institutions, they build school systems, they build businesses, they develop infrastructure, they do amazing things. Like, country doesn't say, well, just because we're poor, that means we can't have roads and bridges and schools. I went to Guyana. The people in Guyana would give anything to have the wealth that African Americans have. Do you know, when I was in Guyana, check this out. Let me start. When I worked at Syracuse, my first gig there, I actually made $115,000 a year. That was a lot of money. That's still a lot of money now. But back then in 2001, that was a hell of a lot of money. Do you know that when I went to Guyana, which is a black country, one of the professors at the University of Guyana told me that there was a big scandal. I said, what was the scandal? They said, everybody found out that the president of the university was making all kinds of money. I said, really? How much money was the president of the university making? She said, he was making $34,000 a year. I said, oh, well, damn. I said, well, how much do y'all make? And she said, we make about, I think she said she made $6,000 a year. And this was a highly educated black woman. I mean, super highly educated. So y'all don't understand. I mean, everybody got y'all so caught up in your misery that you don't even know how to count your blessings, man. I'm not trying to say it's great being black. I'm not trying to say it's easy. I'm not trying to say that there ain't no issues to work through. I'm just trying to say you do have something to work with. Stop acting like you poor. The worst thing about being poor is when you get a poverty mentality. I'd rather be a poor person with a wealthy mentality than a rich person with a poverty mentality. If you're rich and think you're broke, but then you're worse off than a person who's poor but feels mentally rich, because your mind is going to take you where you belong. Ultimately, your mind is going to put you where you feel like you should be. Right? It's like self-perception. When you talk about women and look in the mirror, you ever seen that where you have maybe a girl who's not attractive who thinks she's the most beautiful thing in the world, but then you have a girl who's very pretty who thinks she's ugly. Like which would you rather be? Or anorexia. You have those little girls weigh 95 pounds that swear that they're super fat. Like black people, and sometimes we act like that. We act like we ain't got nothing. Like we just ain't got a pot to piss in. No, y'all, black people lead the nation in new car consumption. Did you know that? Like you can't lead the nation in the consumption and the purchase of new cars if you broke. You can't. Air Jordans, they sell Jordans to black people pretty much before they can sell them to anyone else. And so you can't buy Jordans if you have no money. That's just a fact. So anyway, let me keep going. All right, so hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button. Let me finish going through this list of rappers. Okay, so you had Diddy. Diddy was number 3. So you had Drake at number 5 at 150 million. Kanye at number 4 at 240 million. Diddy number 3 at 740 million. And I thought Diddy was a billionaire, so that kind of surprised me. Dr. Dre at number 2. At 800 million. I thought Dr. Dre was a billionaire. Remember that Apple deal? Anybody remember that Apple deal where everybody thought he was a billionaire and he actually said he was a billionaire, but I guess he wasn't. Either way, though, I mean, come on now. I mean, 800 million, a billion. Who's counting, right? I congratulate Dr. Dre on his economic success, but I still have to hold Dr. Dre accountable for the fact that he gave all that money to USC. USC is a racist university. Go look at their faculty. They don't hire that many African American professors, and they certainly don't give them promotions. They don't tenure those people. Also, they've had black students there that have complained about racism. That's a university that don't even want black people on the campus, damn near. At least they act that way. They love black people if they can dribble a basketball, throw a football. But they don't, UCLA same way. The African American males literally went to YouTube to complain about the racism on the UCLA campus. So the fact that a black man would give, I forgot how much he gave. What was it? Do y'all remember how much it was? Was it 35 million he gave? It was a $70 million gift between him and that white guy, Steve Iovine, Jimmy Iovine, whatever the hell his name is. But Drake gave half of that, and I was like, man, bro, like. Do you understand how many black people, how many of your own people could have gotten educated with that amount of money, with a fraction of that? If he picked an HBCU and gave them $35 million, that would have been, I think, the largest gift to any HBCU until Robert Johnson gave that $40 million. Like literally, Bill Cosby and Robert Johnson or Robert Smith. I'm sorry, Robert Smith. I was thinking of Bob Johnson. Bill Cosby and Robert Smith were the only two people to have ever given money at that level to an HBCU. All the other celebrities give like chump change. They give piss money. I think there was an attorney named Shaw who gave $10 million to his alma mater. God bless him for that. But seriously, they come up, we wrote a check for $200,000. Yeah, but you're worth 89, 90, 100, 200 million. $80,000 or whatever, 200,000, whatever you wrote the check for. That's a little more symbolic. It doesn't mean you can, look a gift horse in the mouth, but you got to know what the horse is worth. You don't just because you don't look the horse in the mouth don't mean you got to pretend like it's a multi-million-dollar thoroughbred. So I just don't get it. I don't understand. USC probably burned through that 35 million in about 2 weeks. Did y'all know that? Like USC has a budget so big, their endowment for the university actually exceeds the endowment of every HBCU in America combined. If you add up the endowment of every HBCU in America, I don't think it matches to USC. So it's just it was baffling, mind-boggling. Anyway, let me keep going before I get too mad. Number 1 is Jay Z, who just became a billionaire. I have no complaints about Jay Z in terms of how he's evolved. The only thing I would just request on him is that he just really, let people come around him that are really going to challenge him to be even more creative about how he allocates resources, to his community. I think there's a lot of things he could do. Like I would love to get in the room with one of these guys and have them say, okay, I got 50 million. I want to help black people. Tell me what to do. That would be awesome because we could come up with an investment layout where not only could they help the community, but they could actually make money back. Like you could triple your money if you invest in black people. And the problem is that we see black people as a charity case. People think that, putting money in the black community means you're not going to get that money back. But if you do it the right way, you'll understand that the black community presents some of the best, investment opportunities anywhere. So it is what it is. Now, let me see here. Shirley, okay, you mentioned Michi. I told you I'm not going to talk bad about Michi. I love Michi, so it's not going to end. Let me see here. Yeah. Sometimes things happen, sometimes they don't. But I'm not going to address it. I'm here to be positive and to build. I'm not here to chit chat about the internet. Man, you're the truth, Dr. Watkins. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. We question each other, but not others. I agree. We don't, and that's why I decided that in general, I was going to do my best not to really spend too much time fighting with other black people. If there's a bigger person from another community that I could fight against, like if there's a bigger issue, I'd rather fight the bigger issue. I don't want to get caught in the small issues, because I think that if you have a bunch of people that spend all their time fighting on small issues, then you become small people. Small people meaning not just small-minded, but you become small in your accomplishments. You can't accomplish, if I see another black man come along, even if I disagree with him or don't see eye to eye with him, my thought is not, how do I destroy him so that I make myself feel better? My thought is, well, if I'm fighting him and he's that hard for me to fight, maybe we can find common ground and we can partner. Because if I can, let's say that I see another black man, I'm like, I don't like that Negro. I can't stand that nigga. I want to see him go down, right? And let's say that, I'm level 8 and he's level 5, right? And I know I can take him down, right? But it's going to cost me. When you battle another black person, you never win. The only thing that you see at the end of the day is who's the biggest loser. That's how you decide who the winner is. Nobody feels good after a war. So let's say I'm level 8, he's level 5. So I crush his ass, and he's done, right? He goes from 5 to 0 because I take away his 5 points. What you got to remember, though, is 8 minus 5 is what? It's 3. So when in my effort to take him down, I'm 8, he's 5. I kill his 5, which makes me a 3. We both lose. He's gone. He's a 0, right? I'm a 3 when I used to be an 8, right? Do you follow me? Do you tell me yes or no? Do you understand what I'm saying? When you go to war with other black people, you usually everybody loses. You might win, but you're not really winning. You're just not the biggest loser. And because you're a crab in a barrel, all you know how to do is compare yourself to the person who lost. You're like, you're sitting there bloody, eye busted wide open, got a knife in your ribs, and you on life support, but you're like, yeah, but you should have seen the other guy. The other guy, he's dead now. I killed that motherfucker, but your ass sitting up in the hospital on life support. So you ain't doing so good your damn self. So I am a level, let's say, if I'm a level 8 and the guy that's coming at me is a level 5 and I take down that level 5, I become a 3, he becomes a 0, the whole community loses. Now let's look at the flip side of that. What if I looked at him and said, maybe we can find this one issue that we have, maybe we can work around that. And actually, instead of not going to war and keeping ourselves at 8 and 5, right, which is great for the community, maybe we can even work together. And then what you get is, instead of getting subtraction, you're actually getting addition. So I say, man, let's get on the phone. Oh, come on, ma'am. I know we have a beef. I know we got an issue. I know you don't like me for whatever reason, but maybe we talk about it. We can at least agree to disagree, find some common ground. What can I do for you so that we can make this go away and make things better? I just want you guys to know that, just so you know, I do practice what I preach. Like anybody that's ever had an issue with me that's come at me like, I can't stand Boyce Watkins, he's a son of a bitch. I've always invited them to call me on the phone. I've always said, well, let's talk. Let's get on the phone. We can even do it publicly. Let's come on my channel. Let's talk it out. Let's figure it out, right? Because here's the thing. Because instead of doing subtraction, you can actually do addition. So if I'm an 8 and I'm the big fish on the block and I know I can take you down because you're a 5, my thought actually is, but you know what? Wait a minute. 8 plus 5 is 13. So instead of going the other direction where we're doing subtraction, where 8 minus 5 is a 0, and then I'm a 3 because I'm the last man standing, why don't we go in the other direction? Well, you bring your 5, I'll bring my 8, and then we'll both be a 13. and then the community wins, and we both win. Right. And the community gets this. I believe that the people understand this. When y'all see, I want to just say that I apologize for people who are who get on the internet and act a damn fool and start cussing each other out and trying to tear each other down, and everybody want to call each other scammer, or he's a scammer, she's a fraud, she's a this, she's a that. I just think that that's sad. I want to apologize for that, because I think the community gets it. I think that what you're really seeing, honestly, is egos. You're seeing people who maybe Black people, we've been traumatized so much. So when you've been traumatized, you're easily triggered. And when you're triggered, you start screaming, hollering, and yelling and attacking other Black people, because you've been through so much pain that you want to inflict more pain on other people, right? And so there's a lot of distrust, a lot of trauma, a lot of chaos. And then you mix that with what happens when people get on the internet. When they get on the internet and you go from being a person where nobody, you were not listened to, nobody paid attention to you, to suddenly you got 10,000 subscribers. You've got thousands of people that are paying attention to what you have to say. So you start to feel yourself. You start thinking that you're the center of the world. You start thinking that whatever I say and do, it's the most important thing in the universe. And also people start getting in your ear, and people start saying, well, so-and-so said this about you, so-and-so said that about you, because you got Negro instigators out here who will send you. I have people that will send me emails and be like, well, did you see what Michi said about you? Or did you see what so-and-so said about you? Did you see what Tommy Sotomayor said about you? And I got to the point where I was like, I don't really want to see it, because the thing is, that if I see it, what benefit does that bring to anybody for me to see that, and for my ego to kick in, and for me to be like, oh, I can't believe that motherfucker said that about me? Like, what benefit to the community occurs when I stop pursuing my purpose so I can go pursue vengeance? Right? The pursuit of vengeance does not do anything other than satisfy your ego. And I think the community sees that. I think that's why you have people in the community that get very upset when they start seeing 40-year-old Black people acting like damn children. Seriously, like if somebody has a disagreement, I've had many disagreements with many people, and most of those disagreements you will never hear about, because if you bring up that person's name, I'm going to say positive things about that person, because there's no benefit in me making myself the center of attention and telling you to get involved as to why I have some petty ass disagreement with another person. So the fuck what? People don't get along. People fight all the time. Arguments happen. Move the fuck on, and let's focus on the bigger picture. So that's my position. So I just want to say that to anybody, and I want to say this to the moderators. People who bring stuff to me, I want you to know, you're not going to be welcome on this channel. And I'm going to tell my moderators, if you see somebody in here who's trying to start shit, who's coming back and bringing stuff to me, like, well, what she's really trying to say is this, and blah, blah, blah. I see you, Ursula. I see your comment. No, if that person wants to bring something to me, they can call me. If they're bringing it to me through a YouTube channel, then fuck you. I don't want to hear you go in public so you can get views on your channel, or so you can make it into a big thing. If you got an issue, call me on the phone. We'll work this out so that we can focus on the bigger picture. And I want to make sure that people understand my position on this. Like, I've thought about this, and I don't think the community benefits at all. And tell me yes or no. Tell me yes or no. Do you like watching Black people fight on YouTube? Like, does that make you want to watch more, or does that make you want to watch less? Let me say this. There are people out there, though, who like it, who really like to see the drama. It's like a hip hop beef. They like to see it more. Those are the people that I don't want on this channel. If you're a person that wants to see Black people destroying each other and that makes you excited, then go back to 1785 and become a fucking slave master, because that's what they used to do on the plantations. They loved a good nigger fight, and they would sell tickets to that shit, and they would bring everybody on the plantation together to watch two niggas kill each other. And then at the end of the day, everybody gets some good entertainment, except for the two poor sons of bitches that are out there half dead because they just tried to murder each other for somebody else's entertainment. I'm not participating in that. I'll fight a white man in a minute. I'll fight a bigot, a racist in a minute, but I'm not going to fight no Black people, because it doesn't benefit the Black community. I'm not here for myself. I'm not here for them. I'm here for you. So that's my position on this channel, and I want everybody to know that. Anyway, so Last thing I'll say about this rappers list, please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. Also, make sure if you want to do daily financial conversations, we have them all the time at theblackfinancialchannel.com. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. So feel free to come to the channel, and we talk about financial stuff every single day. And also, last thing I'll say about this rappers list. So number 5 was Drake at 150. Kanye was 240 million net worth. Diddy was number 3 with 740. Dr. Dre was number 2 at 800. Jay Z is number 1 at $1 billion. The last thing I'll say about this list is that I think that as a community, though, we've got to stop looking at rappers as like the ultimate success story, right? I think that rappers are wonderful. I think that they're great. I think they're cool. I think they deserve props for high achievement. But, you know, there's a million things a black man can do other than be a rapper. There's a million things that the black community can accomplish. Like, seriously, like, you know, white people are building rocket ships to Mars, and we're sitting here trying to become the next Jay Z. I mean, you know, like, everybody ain't gonna be Jay Z. Everybody can't be LeBron. Most 99.9% of them won't become LeBron. So if you dedicate everything to becoming the next LeBron or the next Jay Z, then what's happening is you're throwing away 99.9% of a lot of your young black men that could be doing amazing things. So what I did actually, my thing was, my trapping was being an athlete. I was pretty strong. I was pretty fast. I wanted to be like a professional football player, something like that. And I put a lot of time into that. I've dedicated a lot of my energy to playing sports, but I wasn't good enough. And what happened was I realized, I said, wait a minute, there's wide open territory over here. Ain't no black man trying to be an academic champion that I knew at that time. So I said, I can still be a champion. I can just be a champion in the classroom. And you still get awards, you get trophies. I got money. I made tens of thousands of dollars, literally, by being the top student in my programs. Like when I was Wall Street Journal Outstanding Graduating Senior at the University of Kentucky, when I got I had a triple major and got 2 bachelor's degrees in 4 years. Do you know how many props came with that? They were writing newspaper articles about me. This is before I became famous or whatever I am now. Like they were talking about me like I was the greatest thing ever. And I'm gonna tell you, it was great. It was so much fun, you know, to get that respect and to go in there and just kick a white boy's ass because I knew finance far better than he did. And so I felt strong. I felt like a man. I felt like a competitor. I felt like a warrior, man. And that was great because that was actually feeding into the part of me that was an athlete. The athletic competitiveness I had gained from playing sports translated into academics. So that's why it wasn't enough for me to just make straight A's. I wanted to do something that people would never forget. So I would say, well, maybe everybody else takes 15 credit hours, maybe 16, maybe 18. I'm going to take 24 credit hours and still make a 4.0, right? Or I had 4.0s and I would be working a full-time job, you know, like you know, just things like that would just kind of allow me to really feel some success in my life. And all I did was I just basically took the amount of effort I saw my friends putting in, and I just tripled it. I said, if everybody else is studying 2 hours a day and I study 7 hours a day, I'm gonna murder the game. And 7 hours a day of studying seemed like a lot to my friends, but I said it's not that much, because when you get out here and your ass starts working for the white man, he gonna ask you to work 8, 9, 10 hours a day. So why not go ahead and start doing that now while you're young, where you can get the benefits? Like later on, when you're working 9, 10 hours a day, that's gonna be par for the course. Everybody's gonna be doing that, so nobody's gonna recognize it. Nobody's gonna give a shit. But if you do it as a college student and you get in that mindset early, see, starting early is the key to success about 80% of the time. You start early and you're busting ass. I'm doing 7, 8 hours a day of studying 7 days a week at the age of 19. Guess what? I become the big superstar. I become the guy everybody's talking about. I become the guy who, if they even knew I was applying for a scholarship, they were going to give it to me because there was no competition. Do you know I applied to law school at the University of Kentucky? And I applied the last day of that the applications were to be turned in. It was the last day you could turn in your application. In fact, it was so late I couldn't even mail it. I had to actually walk to the law school to hand it to the receptionist. Do you know the next morning at 9:00 a.m., the dean of the law school called me and said, I want to offer you a full ride, all tuition paid, to come to the University of Kentucky Law School. And I was like, that's a great offer. Thank you. I'll consider it among all the others, right? So I'm feeling like Kevin Durant in free agency, like I'm being offered like $1 million deal. Like that's how it felt. I ain't gonna lie, because I was a young kid. It was fun. And but then a week later, I was like, yeah, thank you for your offer. It's very generous, but I've got so many other offers. I think I'm going to go somewhere else. But it was just nice to get the offer, right? So my point is to say, everybody wants to accomplish something. Everybody wants to make their mama proud. Everybody wants to feel good about their success in the world. And there's plenty of black success to go around. It's just that there's only a limited amount available in hip hop. I can't tell you how many 40-year-old rappers I have met and that I know to this day. No disrespect to them, but most of them ain't getting money like that. But I know a lot of 40-year-old, 30-year-old, 25-year-old entrepreneurs that are making more money than 90% of the rappers I've ever met. Like I'm talking about $1 million a year, $500,000 a year, $2 million a year. So that space is wide open. So let's produce as many, especially among the black males, let's produce as many black entrepreneurs as we produce black rappers. Like that, if we do that, just balance it out. It don't mean you can't quit rap. You got to quit rapping. I mean, rapping, you created that. Stick with it. Have fun with it. But use that, as a vehicle that can get you into other things, all the other opportunities that exist for you out here in this world. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to go, guys. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please share this video. And also make sure you subscribe and all that stuff. And the other thing I want to mention is if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, please go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. Also, don't forget, every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, we have our investing masterclass where I answer 1,000,001 questions about investing. We do a new lecture every single week. You guys are going to love it. So feel free to go to drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. In fact, in the Black Business School, we have a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee. So if you join and it's not what you thought it was going to be, just reach out. We give you your money back. Universities don't give you a refund if you're not happy. We do, because we don't want anybody unhappy. We love for people to be happy with what they get. So feel free to check it out, drboycemasterclass.com. And I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Be good. Peace.